Hello, welcome back. We're on a field trip today. I'm back. I can't see you, you can see me. I feel much better. I can actually move my neck and stuff like that. We're on a field trip here. This is my other office. This is where I spend every Sunday morning playing the organ. So this is an organ. It's called the King of Instruments. And the reason it's called the King of Instruments is because it's the largest instrument in the world. Not this specific one,
The pipe organ.
but the largest instrument in the world. Now, there is a very important difference between this one and the real organ, all right? A pipe organ produces sound with pipes, and this organ, if you look up here, produces the sound through speakers. So this is an electric pipe organ. But everything else that I'm going to talk about is the same, all right? So, first thing you'll notice is there are piano-looking things. So these here, there's two of them. These are called the manuals. They're called manuals from the same root word as manos, your hands. They're called manuals because you play them with your hands. All right. You'll also hopefully notice down here, there's pedals. So these you play with your feet, but the setup is the same. So it's the same notes, all right, C, D, E, F, G, as the manuals. It's just you play them with your feet. So you got two hands and 2 feet that you can use. All right. So the way the pipe organ works is for every note, there's one pipe. So that's why it's such a big instrument. So for those of you that have recorders, and maybe your brother or sister has a recorder, right? It has holes in it. So on the recorder, if I wanted to play hot cross buns, I would go hot cross buns, 1 a penny, 2 a penny, hot cross buns. And those notes are B, A, G, B, A, G. And you can play 20, 25 different notes on one recorder because of those holes. On a pipe organ, if you wanted to play B, A, G, B, A, G, you would need 3 pipes. So each letter name is a pipe. So if you look here, there's 60 keys here. So that's 60 pipes just to be able to play one sound here. And then there's another 32, I think, down here. So you'd need 32 more pipes. And it adds up really quickly. So that's one of the reasons why it's so big.
And some organs are bigger than others.
All right, so let's take a look over here. This section here, if you see here, it says grate. This section here controls the sound that comes out of this manual, the grate. Now each one of these buttons here, we call them stops. So if I pull a stop, the reason it's called a stop is because it stops the air from going through the pipe. So each one of these stops is its own sound. And most of these have names that are in German, because this instrument is based on a German style. So a Rohrflöte, that's some sort of flute. I don't know what roar means, but we get a flute sound. So right now I'm playing 5 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That means 5 different pipes are playing. All right? I could also get... All right, that sounds a little bit like a trumpet. I can get a bigger sound. All right, each one has different names. So these are called stops. When you pull it, you open the stop so that the air goes through that. So each one of these has 60 pipes with it, if this were a pipe organ. All right, now take a look for a second. Along with the name, what do you see? You see numbers, right? So this here is 8 foot. There's a little apostrophe there, which means feet. So that tells you the pitch it sounds at. So if I take this 8 foot and I play that note, that 8 foot, they're all going to be the same note. All right? So imagine a pipe that's about 8 feet tall. That'd be about the height of your ceiling. So from the floor to the ceiling, that's about 8 feet. All right? So imagine a pipe that big, and that's the sound you're going to get. So all 8 foots at the same time, they make the same note. All right? They're just a different sound. Now here's a 4, right? Here's another 4, here's another 4. So now imagine a pipe that's 4 feet, about how tall you are for most of you. All right? Do you think that would sound higher or lower than an 8 foot? So you got one pipe that goes all the way to your ceiling. You got another pipe that's about as tall as you. The one that's about as tall as you, do you think will sound different or the same as the 8 foot? So here we go. I'm going to switch from the 8 foot to the 4 foot. And the sound went up, right? Mm-hmm. So the smaller something is, the higher it is. The bigger something is, the lower it is. So let's go back to the 8 foot. Now if I go to 16, twice as tall as your ceiling, what do you think is going to happen? Goes down, right? All right, so come back here for a second. My son is my cameraman. So you see 8, 4, So what happens is if I'm playing 8 foot, that's the actual note coming out. If I play a 4 foot, the note that comes out is actually this note. This note here. So watch. Whoops, wait, that's not what I wanted to do. So here's 8. There's 4. So I do the same thing just by doing this. See what I mean? It sounds a little different though, so it's a different sound. So now, if one stop is 60 pipes, 2 stops would be 120 pipes. Now we're getting really big. So one thing we do on the organ is we use a bunch of different stops together. So this column here are all my flute sounds. So I have 2 8-foots, a 4-foot, and a 2-foot. So I play all those together. Sounds nice. All right. These ones, we call these the principals for some reason. This light is out, but right, I have 8, 4, and 2. So that sounds nice too. All right. Up here, this is called my swell. Over here are all my swell sounds. I have a bunch more different. Here's a really loud one. All right. There's a trumpet. Here's an oboe. Right. All right. But it's basically the same sounds. Here's my flutes. All right. So this is the pedal. Notice we don't have very many, we don't have any 2s at all. We only have 2 4s, and everything else is 8s, 16s, and then a 32. So the 32 is going to be the lowest. You might not even be able to hear it. You just feel it. All right, and then I've got a trombone sound. All right, and then some other stuff. So that's how the organ works. There is one button I like a lot, right here. Can you see what it says? So for my Carver students, they probably know what that means. Tutti. Emmanuel, do you know what tutti means?
Yeah.
What?
Everything plays.
It means everything.
Yeah.
So tutti means everything, just like in Spanish todo. So if I hit tutti, now I've got everything. So with one button, I can turn on everything. Here's the other important button here. That turns everything off. So if I'm playing for church, and I hit tutti and I end on a hymn, and then I forget to hit cancel, and I go to put my feet down while somebody's talking, oh, whoops. So you hit that button a lot just to make sure everything's off. So one of the things that the organ is great at is leading people in singing. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to end this video. This was just an introduction to the organ. This is kind of a classical music organ, a church organ. There's a whole other style of organ, and I'm going to link another video for you to watch on theater organ. So back when movies didn't have any sound, so you couldn't hear what people were saying, there were musicians to help explain the plot and to move the emotion forward. And most of that was done with an organ, but it was a theater organ. It was an organ made to sound more like an orchestra. So I'm going to have a video on that. It has all these sound effects. You have sirens, you have car horns, and it's more of an orchestra. It's not the same as this. So, and I don't play that. It's set up the same, but the music you play is really different. And I can't do that very well. So I'll have you watch that video. I'm going to end this video and make another one where we're singing songs. We're going to sing America, we're going to sing America the Beautiful, and lift every voice and sing. And you'll see that the organ is great for leading people in singing. It's one of the main things it does. All right, so this, since it's for children, you're not going to be able to comment, but you will be able to comment through Teams, through email, or whatever if you've got questions or comments for me. Thanks for coming on a field trip with me.
And